Tim and Guy, we are your friends. With boys are back again. Worst idea of all time.
Yes, dog.
Gee whiz.
How about that?
That was a hell of that was really coming through my cans, Tim.
I quite like that. I like that a lot. Ashton Brown, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashton Brown.
Guy, we're back.
We're back in the studio. It's another sunny day here in Auckland City Town, and we've just watched for the first time on record We Are Your Friends. I'm jazzed.
Same, dude. I'm fucking pumped up for this year. This is going to be a sweet 52 watches. It is plumb. The duration just right. It's got a banging soundtrack. It's got some actual story. People are acting in this movie. It's fucking dope.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's efficient. It's a model of efficient storytelling.
There's some drag in some bits.
Hey,
it's not
Tim.
flawless. Yo.
How are you in general?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you?
Jeez.
No, I'm
you
good.
seem more excited by watching We Are Your Friends than you do by your own life.
Dude, I'm just like, I've been itching to get back to the potty, to be honest. Itching to get back into here because lots of things seem to have gotten in the way of that happening recently. We actually arranged to watch this movie for the first time a few weeks ago and in Melbourne. When we were at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival and we booked a time and everything, and I came around to your Airbnb, and then I was just like, I can't fucking do it, man. I can't do it because I just couldn't bring myself to get back.
That was
in the pool.
quite amazing. We sort of looked at the film square in the eyes and shied away.
We were just like, nah, not today. Today's not the day. But today was the day,
It still is the day.
and I'm so glad that it was.
If this movie's taught me anything, it's to seize the day. I wouldn't say to love every day, but it does leave you. There's a take home message, isn't there?
There's a real,
and it's pretty heavy handed.
real carpe diem vibe to it. I was actually trying to think because there's some actual shit that happens there's one thing that happens in the movie. Maybe we should leave spoilers for like maybe the first 5, and if people want to watch it, they can. Hey,
No. This is the beauty of podcasts. You can say, hey, if you really want to watch the movie before we talk about it,
yeah.
That
Pause
also-
now, run away, do it.
that's like would you say watch the movie?
Hey, so this is crazy because this is I mean, our first 2 movies were Grown Ups 2 and Sex and the City 2.
The first 2 movies we created.
Only in the darkest hours would we
Suggest
to people that they watch those fine pieces of cinema that we made. But this one, I'm like, it will do you no harm.
watch it, don't
You can watch
it.
it.
It doesn't make a difference.
It's fine. This one's not poison. It's like just kind of it's like water with a bit of lime cordial in it.
It's like
And that it won't hurt you, but some people will be like, "Oh,
it's a bit off.
Not really for me."
It's like when you've had a Powerade and then you fill up the Powerade bottle with water.
Yes.
And then you're like, oh, this doesn't taste like water, and it doesn't really taste like Powerade.
Yeah, it's
but
not
like,
great,
I
but
know it's
it's all right.
hydrating me.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's this.
So I think the first thing to do for this way we cover, it's a coverall for those who haven't watched the movie. I think just as a listening experience, it's probably more fun to not see the movie and then sort of assemble a movie in your mind.
Yeah, people often talk about how warped the vision of the movie is by the time they've gotten through all the episode.
But this, like,
There's no reason for you to see the movie. Put it that way.
Yeah. So it's a movie. These guys, they live in the valley in LA. These 4 guys. They've even there's like a whole crew complete with a friend who's named after an animal who's kind of the goofy offsider. Squirrel, a la Turtle and Entourage.
True. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is always that guy, eh?
Yeah.
Well, in those 2 things.
Yeah.
It's 2 out of 2. Out
Mate.
of that sample size, 100%.
That's right. That's the thing with statistics. You just have to get the right sample size. And pretty much they're going to ride Zac Efron's, burgeoning DJ career all the way to the top, baby. And that's the movie. That's
it.
That's literally, that's the meat and potatoes. That's all there is to it. They're not contributing to society in any way.
And actually, in some parts, they do quite the opposite, where they have to take a real office job in real estate, and they do bad things.
Yeah, they're baddies then.
It's legal, but it's immoral. Like all things in the banking sector are.
That's right. I would like to say the movie comes in super, super, super hot at the top. and the boys are real pumped because they're going to go and flyer to
college
to promote a gig they're putting on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was like, coming off the back of being in Melbourne, where you have to fly, like you have to promote your own show for people to come because it's a very big comedy festival, and you have to fly to do that. The way they sold flyering, I don't know who was the researcher on that, but it was grossly inaccurate.
You just got to put some French EDM behind it, and everything becomes like. I reckon I could vacuum the house and film myself doing it, and if I had one of those slow motion cameras, like a really nice, like $4,000 red that records everything at like 1 billion frames per second, and then chuck like some Phoenix under it or something, it'd be dope.
Well, that's one
some
of the
Daft Punk to me, just vacuuming. Crazy shots from like the carpet's perspective, looking up at me, and then me looking.
You're
down
describing
at the
a
carpet.
clickhole video. Do you know the guys from Phoenix and Daft Punk all lived together in a house before they became successful, respectively,
They
as
were all
Phoenix
in
and Daft Punk?
a single band together,
Called a
originally.
single band. The movie is quite fortunate in that it does have like the, you know, in Grown Ups 2, when halfway through the movie the DOP was just like, and now a music video. They have that as an out at all times, but it's not sort of super jarring and out of place. It's like
it's
whenever the movie's dragging, or they're like,
a
oh,
good
look,
ripcord.
we've got some pretty garbage storytelling going on here. It's
Yeah.
just like cue music video,
Yeah.
bam, and then there are other parts which are like Wikipedia informational YouTube videos
Oh,
condensed
fuck, it's
into.
good. They've grabbed that motif, which I've seen actually pop up in a couple movies the last few years, of like riffing on a high school sex ed video style of thing, where it's like outdated graphics and it's very retro cool. And they give that a bash to run you through the gamut of the spectral EDM genres. So you go like, you start, what was 60 beats per minute? They're like reggae. Reggae is dope, but it's slow. It's 60 beats per minute.
like
dubstep is 140, but it's actually halved, so it's 70 beats per minute. And then you got
House.
no, there was something before house.
No, it's house 110 to 130.
They really shat on electro though. Electro wasn't even in there.
And then they're like hardcore, and Zac Efron's like, but I don't know how to dance to that. But he's also kind of he's
Making a
DJing.
joke at the goddamn Juggalos.
Yeah.
That's who I saw in that video that they popped
I
up.
read a really interesting. Fuck, have you seen that Juggalo doco?
Nah.
I haven't seen it, but I read a real interesting essay about Juggalos in between turns, in between my time spent with. Why is it that movies have to come in fours? Why does
What do you mean? What do you mean in fours?
Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Rock, Kevin James, Carrie Bradshaw, Samantha Jones, Miranda, whatever her last
Charlotte.
name. What's Miranda's last name? Or Charlotte. Charlotte Runkle, Miranda Steve.
Miranda
And then
Brady.
you got
Did
the-
she take his name?
I don't know. Then you got the four boys in this one. Why are you so afraid of
boys.
fucking around with a different amount of lead? Or like,
Well, if you have two, that's a buddy film. I think it's the movies we've picked. I think we are the self-selecting entity
mate,
of that.
from a
where's
sample size of 3,
What's a movie-
100% of movies have 4 people in them.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 4 of them.
Yeah.
But is there any good movies that are
Three
sort of the
Musketeers.
Matrix? No, the Matrix is more than 3. It's like 1 billion.
Ghostbusters.
4.
The Ghost.
Ghostbusters is 4. You got Dan Aykroyd
Bill Murray. Harold Ramis.
and
Yeah.
there's the guy who joins later.
I don't know. I've only seen it once.
Doesn't matter. So this fucking movie. So it can't really compare to the first 2 that we've seen because it's pretty coherent and shit, man. It was really caught me off guard.
It's a joy to be around.
It really is. Like
you-
this is going to take a while to wear down.
Imagine you're at a cocktail party and the first person you meet is Adam Sandler and the next person you meet is Carrie Bradshaw, and after both of them you're just like, what is life? And then you meet someone who's
Zac
like,
Efron though,
Yeah.
it's actually perfect because I reckon from all the interviews and stuff I've seen of Zac Efron, which isn't much, but I reckon he'd be a fucking cool dude to hang out with for an afternoon. I think I've heard that Sarah Jessica Parker is actually super lovely from some people who have met her.
I probably said it last season, but I really enjoyed her comedians in cars getting coffee.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
She seemed lovely.
Yeah, I'll bet. She seems very personable and shit. But Zac Efron, I could bro down with him. I'll tell you what, though, this movie, it's a big old bro down. oh, this one's for the fellas.
Yeah.
This one is for the boys.
Mix up a drink, put your dick in it, stir it around, slurp it down, boys, because this one's for you.
There's only one female character in the entirety of the film. Literally, there's one who gets lines at all, and the only thing we know about her is that she wants to go to Stanford. But it really bugged me that the major was never mentioned, like what she actually wants to do with her life.
She went to Stanford.
She went to Stanford for a bit. She couldn't afford it, so she dropped out.
Her name is Sophie. She's played by Emily.
We'll get the pronunciation by the end of this season.
Eastern European surname. And
were you buying the chemistry?
I really like there's a bit of a love triangle situation. Pretty much Zac Effron or Cole, Zacole. We'll call him Zacole. Zacole, my boy.
Zacole's good because it's like Zacole as well.
Zacole he wants to be a DJ, and somehow he's at his Thursday night gig at the club, telling the only other woman who are cast in the film. There to fulfill one role, which is to walk up to, two roles. Sorry, either titties or to walk up to Zac Effron or Zacole when he's DJing and request "Drunken Love." Those are that's what
that was the casting call. For females on this movie,
and those who did those who got the call up did their jobs admirably.
Yeah,
but he gets taken under the wing of this sort of older style DJ.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because they keep hammering you throughout the film about how both got such bad coughs.
Yeah, you'll have to excuse our voices.
They keep setting him up as being old man River of the music world. Like he makes all these jokes about young people and the youth and how you're not a real person until you're 27, all this stuff. The dude appears to be about 34, but they've set him up to be the oldest man in the universe.
He's meant to be like, I guess now when we talk about none of the characters are that well drawn. Like he's this archetype of an old, washed up alcoholic DJ. He's still looks like he's got all the bits of a cool life, but isn't necessarily happy with himself.
It's not super dissimilar from what's his name, Aldous in Get Him to the Greek.
Oh, Aldous Snow.
Yeah, he's kind of like a huge deal and semi sort of washed up at the present time we see him, but it's less fun because he's I think this is true to form. Yes, firstly that, but also electronic dance music musos, I think, are a lot more earnest than rock stars. I think there's a lot of rock stars out there. They're just like, oh mate, we're just fucking, we'll play some jams and shit, but it's all a bit of a laugh, isn't it?
It was quite a funny moment at the start of the film when Zac Effron is at the Thursday night gig that they flyed for, and he's DJing the side room, and he's sort of got no one playing for him, and he just puts his headphones down and walks away from his kit because he's like, well, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And then he watches the guy who's DJing the main stage, who later turns out to be washed up Aldous. And Zacole, it's like, Tim, you turned to me at that point and you said, well, this is quite full on, because at this point in the movie, Zacole is recognizing that the entire scene and industry is hollow.
Oh yeah, it's because of how they shot that as well. Like they make it sort of pans around, switching between a first person perspective of Cole looking around the club while he's just sipping on a beer. Zacole, I beg your pardon, and then looking at him looking disappointed. It's just like showing the hollow emptiness of a bunch of gyrating people who are just like trying to get chemically enhanced enough for this to be a good time for them. And it's just a bit sad, and that's right up front, and you're like, this is the world that Zac Effron is trying to conquer in this film, and you're like, oh, this is a bit fucking grim.
It felt like at that point I was worried we were going to be trapped in a terrible nightclub for the year. But
you break out of there, though. I do like that about the movie, too, that it's not all at night and in a club. Like, it feels very open. It's crazy that the big pinnacle event that he's working towards at the end, spoiler alert, Summerfest, is outdoors and at daytime.
By the way, whoever organised that Summerfest gig, heads are going to roll, because there was a huge programming and technical snafu.
Nobody is coming back next year to Summerfest, you guys.
It's an absolute disaster. There are huge chunks of the gig when no one's playing. There's thousands.
Let us paint you a picture. So it is, I'm going to call it Saturday. Everyone is at Summerfest. The promoters have done a great job marketing this gig.
That's right.
Thousands of teeming masses.
Bus backs.
Beautiful bodies.
Billboards. Targeted Facebook advertising.
And everyone is there. everyone who you want to be there is there. I'm talking thousands of people squashed up against each
That
other.
hot dude from the football team you've been waiting to talk to.
That cute cheerleader you're too nervous to approach.
Who would have thought that if the cute cheerleader and the hot football dude just talked to each other in the first place, they'd realize they both wanted the same thing,
And
a
that-
long-term, loving, and healthy relationship with one another.
Which kicks off at Summerfest. So that's where they meet to kick this off. So we've got all of these beautiful people ready to rock, and just like in a normal music festival, they all just go to an empty stage and politely wait for the act to come and start playing. So we're just like, we're there, and Zac Efron's in a very chilled out, entertainer, very slow kind of way, considering there's a billion people waiting for him to start playing. Just rocks up with his backpack, slowly pulls out his MacBook, plugs it into the DI, which I have to say, you would never do that because you check with the sound effects if you get that, you fucking cut the
It's
channel.
madness. There's been some sort of communication breakdown.
It's insane. It's pulling out all these USB like MIDI devices. You got a little keyboard thing.
Literally scores of people just watching Zacole set up a guy they don't even know.
And they're fine with
There's
it too.
no holding music. There's nothing to keep the vibe going. It's just like they've sucked the air out of the outdoors. There's no atmosphere.
So then
There's no gravity. People are floating up into space, going into orbit,
our
joining
boy,
orbit.
our boy Zacole kills it though. He starts it off as he explained
Yeah.
he would before. You got to start low with the bass line because that affects the waist of a human being. That's what gets him swaying, swishing around.
Yeah, this is what he explains how music works out loud, sort of as a narrative device, but also at the start he's doing it to Sophie, sorry. Sophie Emily, Eastern European last name.
Sophie Emily.
Sophemophiles. Sounds like a Greek character.
Sounds like
from
something you give your dog. to
Greek
get rid of
mythology.
Fleas. Sophemophiles.
Sophemophiles.
Available from all good pet stores. Anyway.
Also, Zacole sound. I think this episode is being brought to you by Zacole, a delicious new pasta product, carbohydrate free, promoted by Zac Effron. When Zac Efron's getting in shape to film Baywatch, all he eats is Zacole pasta.
Should mention actually this episode legit is sponsored by Big
Zacole.
Pipe.
Big Pipe Zacole.
Big Pipe
An
Zacole.
exciting new fiber broadband service brought to you by carbohydrate free pasta. When you're sick of the internet, eat it. Zacole broadband.
The only fiber to give you fiber. Big Pipe.
No, it's actually got no fiber in it either. It's pretty much just water.
Anyway, what were you saying about the?
Oh, he explains how music works, like out loud to her at a party she's hosting. He mansplains music.
He does a bit, eh? He does a little bit, but he walks her through it.
Yeah, and then so he's sort of applying. It's quite like a lot of the storytelling is very heavy-handed. At the end, he's applying all of the shit that's been said out loud and brought up through the film at the end of it. And the last track he plays, which they do like, it's quite. I guess there was only one way that they were going to do this, but it's quite bold to set up the entire climax of the film to be this one song that's going to make or break this young pasta-eating DJ Zacole. And like the song, by all accounts, has to be sweltering hot.
Yeah,
Because that's the entire film rides on this moment.
it's
And
all built up to this one thing, and actually, it's a bit of a cop out, but probably the only way to do it really to not foof yourself would be roll credits there. So it's like the first fucking note is about to hit, and then you hit the credits, and you go, and you actually just use someone else's huge banger, like a big old Daft Punk, you know.
I had Calvin
some
Harris
Skrillex.
bounce in my head when you said you'd play the first note, and then it goes boom, boom, boom. But I think I would have been furious if they hadn't played a song.
I know, but yeah, like I like that they did. Good on them for doing it. The song fucking wasn't that good. It's actually started with a lot of promise. It reminded me of this track that came out in the late 90s, I think, by a group called The Orb. Actually. Maybe it's not The Orb. No, it's Orbital. Fluffy White Clouds is the track. So it starts off real, like, kind of soundscapey, because that's what Zac Efron's been taught by the DJ master, who in his collective 35 years of infinite wisdom in the music realm has known this to be true. You got to be authentic to yourself. you gotta go out there and get the organic sound, and you gotta bring it to the
Yeah.
computer, and then you gotta bring it to the stage.
Zac Efron and him have a full-on chat where Zac Efron's like, but isn't all electronic music digital? And he's like, yeah, but it can be digital and it can still be organic. And then he opens up this cupboard and it's full of Zacole pasta, organic, carbohydrate, fiber-free. It's water. It's water in plastic.
It's a little bit of Gatorade and a whole lot of water is what it is.
It's going to be a weird old year for Timbo and Guy.
Yeah, it will be. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to digging into this one.
Did you have anything? Obviously, we quite enjoyed the film, and
I think
was there anything that jumped out as a?
Oh, look, there's some pretty bold, just by virtue of what it is, misogyny about the film, just sort of baked into it a little bit. Not a little bit, quite a lot. Which I wasn't expecting from director and writer. What's his name? Max
Texter?
No.
He's always on his bloody phone.
Max Texter someone on Twitter, I think.
Max Spector?
No, it's like Max
Flexer.
Joseph? Maximum Joseph. Bringing the noise. The guy who did Catfish. Because when I saw Catfish, and I've seen him, the MTV show, which is pales in comparison to the movie, he seems like a pretty kind of switched on.
I haven't seen any of those things.
Balanced dude. But would you agree with that assessment? It might be a bit unfair because what I like about this film is it's a genre film. And I think it actually has nailed the genre. I don't know for sure because I'm not like in the scene. I'm not a scene dude. But from the outside looking in, I'm like, yeah. If I was 19, I saw that movie, I was like, I'm going to be a DJ now.
Yeah.
Boys.
I can only imagine the boners that 16-year-old boys in high school would have got watching this film.
Fuck yeah.
Pointing them straight to the next pile of cocaine in nightclubs.
Absolutely.
With no idea how to talk to another person.
It's like, have you seen that documentary Scratch?
No.
Oh, I reckon you'd be into it. It's quite old now. Came out in the 90s, I think. Late 90s, but it's all about turntablism. And it's like, you watch it and you're like, right on, someone give me $3,000 because I'm buying some Technics. It's one of those.
Away you'd go.
It's sort of like a poor man's version of that. Yeah, I think if you were younger and impressionable, you'd come out of that movie being like, yo, I'm going to be Zac Effron and I'm going to kill my friend by an empty pool and then I'm going to be fucking rich and have sex with beautiful women.
That was another thing that happens in the movie which we didn't have to confront in Grown Ups 2 or Sex and the City 2.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Someone dies.
Yeah, and it is very unanticipated. Well, it's quite shocking.
Yeah, the movie's kind of coasting for the first hour and 10 minutes. Everything is coming up Zacole.
Yeah.
I mean, the product's taken to market really well. People are scoffing it down. This guy's a pasta millionaire.
They keep painting Old Man River Jimbo as a villain, but it's kind of like he does some dickish stuff, but he's just more of like a flawed guy who overall is pretty fine. But they keep sort of trying to paint him as being this real bad dude. But what he does, he basically takes Zacole under his wing and like offers him equipment and housing
For
and
free.
opportunities and just
And
shit.
PCP.
And,
He spikes him with PCP the first night they meet, and they go out and get lit as fuck.
Now look, full disclosure, I've never had PCP, but I don't think the film's depiction of your experience on PCP matches what I've heard about. Because everything I hear about PCP is people like getting superhuman strength and beating up police officers.
The way this movie makes PCP look, it looks like a delight.
It looks like acid, like a friendlier acid. Where
What will happen if you take PCP is you go to this awesome party and the paintings will start winking at you, and then suddenly everyone will become a smiling cartoon and they'll want to dance and kiss you.
Yeah, and you kind of go in and out a la Aha's Take On Me in a rotoscoped fashion where you're in the real world and then you're not, and you are and you aren't. It was a fun sequence. You know? It's fun in games. Didn't get that in Sex and the City 2. Didn't get that in Grown Ups.
I think the actual, like the tagline for this movie was, "We are your friends so long as you bring PCP to our party." It's a big old pro-PCP propaganda piece.
Yeah, and it's about time that those
PCPPP.
PCP lobbyists started getting their act together with their communications campaign because there's so much negative press about PCP.
That's right.
We're going to start countering it.
Are you on the PCP train?
I may or may not have accepted certain contributions from Big PCP. PCP is now sponsoring the podcast. But
Try the new PCP infused Zacole pasta.
hell of a product. Hell of a product. If you need to get hydrated and on another planet in one foul swoop, Zacole with PCP.
Zacole PCP.
Yeah, fuck. It's not. I haven't heard that PCP does that to you though. I've just heard that it's a real aggressive thing.
Yeah.
Super aggressive, and it's also very like. I didn't know it was still around. I don't think it's in vogue. I thought it was a 90s thing.
I know nothing of it apart from its name and that it's not a good thing to put in your body.
I got spiked in Melbourne.
Your drink got spiked.
Yeah, well,
Where? Tell the story.
It wasn't my drink. I
Well, yeah, okay. You didn't get spiked.
well, it depends how you look at it.
You took something offered to you from a stranger.
Yeah, but he
That's
didn't tell
not-
me what it was. He offered
No,
it to
but-
me. It's not like I snatched something out of his
No,
hand.
but if you're spiked,
Yeah.
that's something that happens to you. You
Yeah,
were
fair call.
complicit.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's probably fair. I was in a nightclub in Melbourne, which turned out to be a gay nightclub, which I wasn't aware when I walked in with some mates. And then I was like, is it all good that we're here? We're not killing the vibe for anyone. But everyone was just having a good time. So I was like, this is cool. This is fine. Everyone's a bit fucked up. We're good. And then a dude offered me a little vial that just said the words party juice on it. And I was like, I fucking love parties. So I
Good
drank
sell.
it. But then it had an intensely chemical taste to it. And
What, you've
I was
never
like, this
drank
doesn't-
party juice before?
this doesn't taste like a party at all. And I took a healthy swig out of that vial, which I should have, in retrospect, been like, if it's in a vial, you probably don't drink that much of it.
What? How big was the vial?
From memory, a few inches tall.
Tim's holding his fingers about 2.5 inches apart.
And so I took a good healthy swig, and then I was like, oof, ugh, yucky. And then I had another beer, and then I vomited my guts out, which was a good thing. I figured out the next day, because the next day I was telling someone, they were like, yeah, it's probably bloody GHB. I was like, oh, that stuff.
And GHB is...
It can be, it is sometimes used as a recreational drug, but it's sometimes used as a date rape drug.
That's mighty unpleasant.
Very much so.
You shouldn't label GHB as party juice.
It's certainly not. Nah. CD cleaner, maybe. That's what it used to be in. They used to put it in CD. Everyone was getting CD cleaner, getting fucking wazzed off it.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, people just put anything in there.
I know, man.
Just
People just
see what happens.
Want to get out of it.
So this movie is advertising drugs for a lot of it, but then
It
eventually,
is.
one of the mates dies, Squirrel,
Yeah.
and then they're like, and then the boys all have a little fight because they're like, you killed him.
Yeah, there is a brief moment of that where they try and lay blame at each other's feet, but then that kind of dissipates rather quickly. Never feels like it gets mega resolved, all that stuff.
It's sort of, I don't know, it kind of, it's just it's just a fine 96 minutes of nothingness.
Tim and Eric fans will be pleased to know that Eric Werheim makes a cameo appearance.
Altogether too brief.
A cameo appearance as the priest
At the funeral.
which is pretty cool. I don't think you hear him say
Non-speaking
anything.
role,
Yeah.
uncredited.
Yeah. Don't look at the
Undeniably.
credits because they may have someone else's name there, but rest assured,
He
is Eric
did it
Werheim.
under a performance name.
he would too. Eric Werheim's exactly the kind of dude who would do that. And especially like get a script like We Are Your Friends, just be like, yep,
Yeah.
sure.
This is my big break.
Absolutely. This movie is exciting because it's so different from the previous two that we've picked. Like, there's drugs, there's death, there's titties, there's dance music, there's white guys wearing tank tops for Africa.
We had that in Grown Ups too.
It's true, actually. That's true. It's a
Do
good
you
point.
think Patrick Schwarzenegger and Zac Effron would get on?
Fuck yes. I am, you would have to convince me they're not already friends in real life, IRL.
Well, I
Forever.
check in with Patty Schwartz's Snapchat every day.
Have you never seen...
I've never seen Zac. I've never seen a crossover.
I think those two, fucking, we got to get those kids together, man. If this podcast can achieve nothing else, like in the 3 years that it will have existed for by the end of this, we got to get Zac Efron and Patty Schwartz together.
Would you like to be in the room with them?
Oh, it would be an honor, but I don't know how much friendship I can handle. Like it'd be too intense.
That
My little cynical heart would explode, overwhelmed with genuine bro love for each other.
for those boys.
Those boys. They should start their own pizza chain. Schwarzenegger should take his money.
They should do a crossover between Blaze and Zacole.
Yeah.
The world's
Oh,
first
there you
pasta,
go.
pasta base.
Paddy can take all of his experience that he's had in the franchise pizza game and the monstrous wealth that he's created for himself out of a little injection of early capital into a business that now LeBron James has dipped his toes into, I think.
He dipped his toes in a while ago, man. I got to say, fuck, we called it.
Yeah, bro.
Honestly, we did so much work for you, Blaze Pizza. You sons of bitches.
We didn't call it. We fucking made them, dog. And they every now and then very occasionally when we've tweeted, they've tweeted a little reply back, and then I'll turn on a dime because it'll be a nice message to Blaze Pizza, and they go, I hope you're enjoying Blaze Pizza. I'm like, where's my fucking money? You guys owe us some serious coin, some serious cheddar. And I know that you've got it. LeBron James is on your team now. God damn it!
Yeah. Bron James has got money.
So anyway, what I meant by all that was that Paddy Schwartz will be bringing his knowledge and capital to the game. Zacole is the product. So you put those two things together and you got a recipe for success.
Zac Efron's probably got a bit of capital to throw behind it as well.
I don't know, man.
God knows. Have you seen that guy's body recently?
Zac Efron's?
Yeah.
Is he shredding for Baywatch?
He's genuinely, because The Rock is in Baywatch as well.
Yeah.
And they like,
Are they comparable in any way?
Yes.
Really?
yes.
Fuck, how did he... Because he's not... His build naturally is like... He's a gorgeous dude. He's a very good-looking man. But he's in no way, shape, or form Rock-like. Rock has a base. Rock is working...
Hard work and dedication. He used half of this film as an opportunity to train for Baywatch.
Fuck.
Well, not half, but I'd say a
he's
quarter of
running.
the movie is Zac Efron running.
A lot of running. You could probably cut a short film about Zac Efron running every day just from the footage of him
You
running.
could probably
in this film.
cut a Zacole advertisement from Zac Efron exercising in this movie.
Fuck, that's a good idea. I might try and carve out some time and get to that. Yeah.
I'll bet you don't find the time.
Yeah, I'll bet you I don't know that.
Hey, Tim,
It's fun to
just
think
quickly, because we are running out of time.
Oh, fuck, we are too.
I would like to share with you my shining light. And it's not that the film in itself was not unpleasant to watch, although I do fear we've lost perspective on what is and isn't a good film.
Undoubtedly.
I would like to say that my shining light, it got a genuine chuckle from me. So, at one point in this film, spoiler alert, Zac Efron bones James is the only female...
The fleamonger.
Yeah. He bones the only fleamonger in the film, also the only female character in the film, who is the girlfriend of the cool DJ guy, and they come to fisticuffs. He does it through like the stupidest thing ever. He saves a photo on his phone so that when the fleamonger calls him, her picture is them like semi-nude canoodling.
Yeah.
And he leaves his phone next to
Fucking bonehead.
the fleamonger's actual boyfriend, who sees the phone ring and is like, hey man, so this isn't very cool. Anyway, eventually time passes and he goes back to the house to try and make up with the washed up DJ, and they talk to each other and they both look like garbage. And the washed up DJ says to Zacole, you look like shit. And Zacole says, so do you. And then washed up DJ says, yeah, while he's drinking whiskey. Well, I actually feel terrific. And it's so funny. It's such good writing. Fuck, it was good. It honestly got me right in the ghoulies.
shit.
Loved it. Did you have a shining light?
This is going to sound pretty dark, but it was Skrill dying.
Just for the...
Because it added some genuine... It was like, fuck, man. We've finally hit a movie this time.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in either of the previous two of our choices. And in this one, it's like, there's some fucking journeying, you know?
That's so true.
There's a voyage.
Shit, there's going to be a lot of parables coming out of this movie.
Parables?
A lot of parables, comparables. I don't know what I'm saying.
Parables is like a story from the Bible, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
This is a
Of the four wise
this is
men.
a deeply religious movie.
Cole is Jeebus, but also kind of Judas as well, because he shouldn't have slept with that guy's girlfriend, even though he was sleeping around on her. I don't know, fleamonger.
It looks
relationships are
like
hard.
a confusing industry to work in. It looks like a lot of flexible morals and not a lot of magnetic north on the old moral compass.
I'm looking so forward to continuing this journey with you. I'm so sorry, but we're going to have to end it there. We've got to rush off and do something. I want to leave you guys with two parting things. Firstly, is another just huge thank you very much to Big Pipe for continuing to support the project that no one believed in.
Also, whoever is doing the social media at Big Pipe, I really appreciate that at one point you tweeted out, "We will not come." Like someone tweeted at Big Pipe being like, "And you won't throttle our family members." And Big Pipe responded, "No, we will not come to your house and throttle you or your family."
They've got an excellent social media team. Excellent.
It was really good.
Big Pipe are bloody good. And if you sign up to them in New Zealand, use the code WORST because it like shows them that we sent them a customer and it'll keep them on board and happy.
And God knows they're on board. They're in the room right now pointing guns at us as we read out this paid for spot.
And the last thing that I want to do is we're gonna go out on that Ashton Johnson intro that he made for us. We've actually been sent probably somewhere in the order of 10 of these intros, and I reckon we'll cycle through a few of them. We'll play maybe all the ones we've received in a Friend Zone episode, just as a fucking little journey through that.
Undoubtedly, indubitably. Also, if you
send them
are
through.
in New Zealand, we're doing a live event this Saturday night,
Yes.
11 p.m. at the Monte Cristo, the second episode of We Are Your Friends. We're going to watch it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to play electronic dance music afterwards. It's going to be a hell of a time.
And before that, Guy and I are both about today to kick off 2 weeks of comedy shows after doing a week in Wellington, after doing 3 weeks in Melbourne. Come and see our shows if you're in Auckland, please.
The good times never stop. Otherwise, live your lives. Try Zacole pasta.
Love every moment.
Yeah,
Full circle, people.
It's good to be alive.
Tim and Guy, we are your friends. Good boys are back again. Worst idea of all time.